And joining me now to discuss the Ahmaud Arbery case and the latest developments is attorney Lee Merritt. He's representing Ahmaud's family and is joining us from the Dallas, Texas area. Thank you, Lee, for being with us today. Let's talk about the latest in the case. Former Brunswick District Attorney Jackie Johnson has been indicted on charges of interfering with the arrest of one of the men allegedly involved in Arbery's death. So what does this mean for the case itself?
Well, the step to indict the prosecutor is both historic and unprecedented. In an earlier segment, you also discussed the case of Elijah McClain, and I think it draws some sharp parallels here, where a local prosecutor said there was no criminal charges to pursue, but a grand jury recently determined that there were charges to pursue in the case, and they went after the officers and the EMTs who were responsible for Elijah McClain's death. That's the kind of thing that we're used to seeing. The bad apples, the lone wolves being targeted occasionally, after much protest and organization, those people being held accountable. But we rarely, I've never seen in my civil rights practice, a prosecutor who failed to uphold her duty to the public, uphold her oath of office, actually face felony charges herself. I hope this sends a signal to the rest of the prosecutorial community that they're not above the law.
Yeah, it is quite shocking to hear that. So what exactly specifically did she do that means that she committed a crime? What exactly happened in this specific case?
Yes, ma'am. Well, Attorney General Carr will have to prove at trial in order to hold Jackie Johnson responsible for her role in obscuring the truth about what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. Is that she interfered with the investigation, and we know, according to Glenn County Police Department, that she instructed them not to make the arrest of Travis McMichael, the shooter in the situation that they planned to make the initial arrest for. That she called another prosecutor, George Barnhill, and got his advice about the case. And when she saw that he sided on the side of her friend, Gregory McMichael, she then had the case transferred to his office to give the appearance that she was doing the right thing of conflicting out. But she kept her thumb on the scale of justice. And on both of those two things, both resulted in massive delays in justice for the family of Ahmaud Arbery, and it completely changed the trajectory of the case. And so those are two things that she should be held accountable for. But it's important that the General Carr's investigation remains open, and George Barnhill himself, the second prosecutor appointed in the case, may be facing criminal charges as well.
So are you aware of who it was that was able to discover that she was maneuvering things and manipulating things?
Well, it was Wanda Cooper Jones herself. And in the lawsuit that my office filed on behalf of Wanda Cooper Jones on the anniversary of Ahmaud's death, the accusations that we now seeing being ratified by the grand jury in Georgia on behalf of the Attorney General, it reflects the lawsuit that Wanda filed in federal court, alleging that Jackie Johnson and George Barnhill and other officials within the Glenn County legal apparatus conspired to cover up her son's brutal murder.
My goodness. So what is the status now of the three men who are accused of taking Ahmaud Arbery's life?
Those men are facing state murder charges, and that go to trial in October, mid-October. October 12th is the first trial date. In addition to the state murder charges, they're facing federal hate crime charges in an ongoing investigation by the Civil Rights Division of the DOJ.
Did what happened with the prosecutor, those charges, does that affect what happens with these men, or is that two separate things that they don't look at together as a whole?
It's separate and combined. Obviously, it's arising from the same facts and events of the Ahmaud Arbery murder, but there are two different parallel tracks. Now, Jackie Johnson will likely be called as a witness in these murder trials. She may assert her Fifth Amendment right not to testify against herself, but the cases are separate, but they have interchanging parts.
All right, well, thank you so much, Attorney Lee Merritt, for the Ahmaud Arbery family. We appreciate you joining us here on BNC. Take care.